Hello and welcome to the Studio Demands It, an exercise in creative thinking where we will challenge ourselves to conceptualize, pitch, and craft a film based on the demands and stipulations from one of you listeners acting as a hypothetical Hollywood overlord. We talk movies all the time.
All the time.
And sometimes we talk about 80s cartoons with little giant hamsters in them, and I know that was an oxymoron.
And also I could probably name two more.
Oh.
That have things like that.
Well, I was referencing a Pucky Brewster cartoon.
Yeah.
You can name two more?
Shirt Tails.
Shirt Tails. I don't know.
Shirt Tails. I mean, Grant, I don't think they didn't have a hamster, but they were all these tiny little animal people. Each wore a shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One was a raccoon.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I do remember
there was
that
an orangutan that talked like Humphrey Bogart.
Humphrey Bogart, the orangutan.
The orangutan child.
Oh, my God.
And they'd go on adventures, and they were like depowered Care Bears. Because they didn't have powers.
Yeah, they're just...
They lived in a tree.
Yeah.
And I think they had some sort of like flying car. I swear, I could be wrong about that last thing, but they lived in a tree.
Hairy leprechaun, random rodents, sweater-wearing rodents.
I remember my dad came home from work and he said, "What'd you do today, Jim?" And I started describing the cartoons I watched. And I remember one of the cartoons I described to him, because this was the only one I couldn't remember the title of. I said it was about three pandas. Two brothers and a sister, and they were going on adventures, and I forget what they were fighting. I just remember it was about these three pandas. And my dad, for whatever reason, like he was a model parent on board, like okay, you're telling me about these cartoons, like, all right, Shirt Tails, whatever, tag along kids.
Yeah.
The thing is, he's my dad. He doesn't know all of these cartoons, so he's just, okay. But for whatever reason, I get to the cartoon that I can't remember all the descriptions of, and that's where he latches on. He's like, "What are you talking about?
Tell me more about these pandas."
I don't know that one. What are you? Of course you don't know that one, but I don't like it. I just remember that was the first time as a kid getting really frustrated, being unable to describe a thing.
You don't understand me, Dad. You don't understand me. I'm just imagining a little Jim, beard, just shaking your fist at your dad.
Yep, shaking my beard.
Shaking your beard.
Years later, I did have someone identify that cartoon, and then I promptly forgot once again. It was basically it was validated that it was a real thing, that I did not make it up, and that satisfied me.
That's all.
I let it go.
You need in this world. My God.
Validation from strangers.
We will be your screenwriters for this episode. I am TCD Witt, and joining me as always, beard and all, is Jim, 80s cartoon Burzelic.
Do you remember the Snorks?
Do you mean the underwater Smurfs? No. Again, there's a little bit of age gap between the two of us, and sometimes it shows itself in situations like this. I'm aware of the Snorks, but I've never seen an episode of the Snorks.
They were like weird octopus people?
But they like breathed on top of their heads?
They did. They also had an octopus as a pet?
It was like the early era SpongeBob. Very accurate. Yeah. Also made by a marine biologist, I'm assuming. Fun.
This whole episode is just going to be do you remember?
Hey, listener, Google this.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. This episode has nothing to do with cartoons, unless we decide to animate whatever our demand is. And you don't know what our demand is, but our listeners do. And they're like, what does this have to do with anything?
Get to the demand.
Get to the demand.
We hate your banter and your laughter.
Yeah, it's that guy. Well, let's get to the demand for today. Our success as either screenwriters or podcasters has given us demands from literally all over the world.
All over the world.
These demands have been submitted at studiodemandsit.com or at Twitter at studiodemandsit. You can send us any demand you like, and we have to come up with something right here on the spot with little or no preparation. So thanks to everyone who keeps submitting. I see them come in through my email, and I usually give them like a quick little skim without giving them too much thought. And I'm like, ooh. But let's get to today's episode.
Okay.
This comes from Gigi, just two letters.
The letters Gigi? Not the name Gigi?
Nope, not the name Gigi,
okay.
Just two letters.
Like good game or good guys?
Yes, good game. Over at Isla Nublar Studios.
I recognize some of them syllables.
One of the greatest cinematic experiences for more than one generation was seeing Jurassic Park in theaters.
It was.
I saw it at a double feature at the drive-in. and I saw it with The Sandlot.
Nice. I saw it at, I'm pretty sure, the Springfield Mall Theater for one of my birthdays.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg made the glory of dinosaurs more real than anyone had or has since. It remains a thrilling, adventurous, funny, scary, and spectacular film. What followed were 4 sequels that offered significant box office returns, though diminishing creative returns. Therein lies the gamble, Jim. We discussed this off mic in discussing The Lion King, the photorealistic one.
Mm-hmm.
They should have done this. They should have done it this way. That movie made $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
You could have made $2 billion. Sorry, Gigi, I keep interrupting.
I'm going to correct. It wasn't for one of my birthdays.
No.
I misremember when that movie came out.
Oh,
that was a proper summer release.
Yeah.
My birthday's in the spring.
So
I am misremembering. It probably wasn't even the same theater.
You lied to us.
I think I did.
You lied to the listeners.
Let me correct that. I know for a fact I went to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for my birthday at the Springfield Mall Theater, because we also spent the first like half hour to an hour at the Aladdin's Castle next door.
Yes.
That's an arcade for those who don't know what Aladdin's
It's
Castle
like a
is.
video game system in a standing box, and
And each game is a different standing
box. And you have to pay to play.
Yeah.
We keep interrupting Gigi's. Where did it go wrong? We demand that you get in the Wayback Machine, another good reference there.
Mm-hmm.
Get in the Wayback Machine, find the point where the Jurassic franchise fell apart for you, and recraft the film from that point. You can go anywhere in the franchise, but if you require a specific point, do Jurassic World. Okay. That's a long way around into saying just redo Jurassic World. But the point is that we can discuss the other Jurassic Park movies,
Sure,
and then pinpoint where we feel that it went off, and then we can just jump in there. I think Jurassic World might be where to go, though.
Well,
the Jurassic franchise is our demand for today. Where are we going, Jim?
let's remember some of these movies. Jurassic Park, the first one. Like Star Wars before it, the first one is perfect. Don't touch it. Leave it alone.
That one still to this day holds up. The CG on the Gallimimus, the Brachiosaurus when it rears up, but that T-Rex attack scene, my God,
still is
it is the best. Yeah. There's nothing that tops that in any of the other movies.
Even as a kid, I had caveats because I was the type of nerd that read the book before the movie. Now that was actually the first movie where I was able to separate the two, and I was like, no, this is its own thing. It stands on its own. The way they changed from the book is okay. It's still an amazing movie.
First time I did that, Lost World.
Nice.
Lost World was the first book I read willingly. And when I went to see the movie, I had loved the book, and then I went to see the movie, and I was like, interesting. This is different.
Because there was a part of me that would have loved to see the novel translated word for word onto the screen. But in a lot of ways, that's not really possible. That's not necessarily interesting. So the first one, perfect. I am ashamed to say I didn't read Lost World, but I did see it. And if I remember right, that one was good. Now, was that the one with William H. Macy hiring?
That's the third one.
Okay.
The second one brings back Jeff Goldblum's Ian Malcolm.
And with his daughter, right?
Yes.
With Ian Malcolm's daughter is there
she
as well. Okay.
sneaks on to the plane.
That's
there's
right.
a Site B, so there's a second island. Julianne Moore's in this. Vince Vaughn plays a photographer. Well, he's posing as a photographer, but he's some sort of animal rights guy. And there's a really intense scene where the trailer is hanging off the cliff being attacked by 2 T-Rex at the same time.
And there are several scenes in there that are sort of like makeup scenes from the first one. Like, this was in the book, in the first book. We're going to put it in this movie. Like the Gallimimus.
Compies.
The Compies killing someone. In the book, the Compies kill Hammond. He does not die in the movies. or at least not there. Instead, it's one of the hunters.
There's also the great moment of the raptors hunting them through the tall grass.
Yeah, that was a really good
Spielberg
scene.
still has it. He's still good.
Mhm.
There's the scene where they're hiding behind the waterfall and like a T-Rex just comes and eats Beardo.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Wasn't that originally in the first book? There was a scene where they hide behind a waterfall, or am I misremembering that?
That sounds right. It's when the kids hide.
What I remember, the way I remember imagining what I was reading was the Tyrannosaur wraps its tongue around someone and pulls them. So I guess I think there's no way for us to know if a Tyrannosaur had a prehensile tongue, but Michael Crichton gave them one.
Decidedly. So, yeah. One thing that I will give them credit for to the newer movies and having just been to Universal Studios is that all the inaccuracies, like the sizes of the dinosaurs or that they would actually have feathers or what have you, they have retroactively made part of the canon, right? Because these are genetically created monsters. So they genetically created them to look like how we think they look.
So that's actually a detail I would keep from
the newer stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Because you don't want to see a dinosaur the size of a chicken or a Dilophosaurus the size of a turkey.
I thought, right, again, the way I remembered reading the book, the Dilophosaur was actually like 6 feet tall. It was bigger than they made them in the book. Or it was bigger in the book than they made them in the movie. Because the way I remember it is Nedry was cradled in this thing's arms as it ate him. What they didn't have the neck frills. This is just the episode where we go into Jurassic Park detail.
You remember what this dinosaur sounded like? Let me do it again.
And I do. That was pretty good. You just didn't get the hiss. Oh, there it is. Oh, you're spitting in my eyes.
Take that, Jim.
Now I'm poisoned and blind.
I'm sorry.
And raptors aren't that big. I believe the Utah raptor is, but like the raptors they were using are actually the size of like you said, turkeys. And
they're really good basketball players.
Yeah, super good at basketball.
Allegedly. Yeah. So in Jurassic World, they get off. It feels like it's wrapping up. And then the ship just suddenly gets to San Diego where they were going to take it for this amusement. They were building a mainland Jurassic Park there. Yeah. And a T-Rex gets loose and just Godzilla's all over San Diego. And they have to get it back to the island. And now the world knows that dinosaurs exist. And I wasn't trying to just cut you off there. I was trying to
what you stopped me from doing is recollecting yet another scene from the original book.
Okay. Well, the third movie, Alan Grant is hired by a couple to go to the island because their son crashed there, got lost there.
Was it Escape from New York?
Yes. Yeah. Go Rescue the Kid. It's the shortest. It's directed by Joe Johnston who did Rocketeer and Captain America. The meme from it is the raptor during the Alan's dream sequence, like turning to him and going, "Alan."
That's right.
And that's the thing that's come.
My biggest memory from that is in the third act when Grant is surrounded by the raptors and they start closing in and stuff. I don't know why. I don't know how. But the movie suddenly changed over to Spanish, Spanish subtitles. Yeah, I saw it in the theaters, and it was wait, what's happening?
So it's a projector
because mistake. They came up in the middle of it, so it's like, wait, are we supposed to be seeing what the raptors are saying to each other?
Like the raptors
are the raptors speaking Spanish to each other?
Well, Spanish subtitles aside from a projector mistake, some say 3 is where the franchise fell off the rails.
Sure. I think the premise still falls within the not absurd space, right? Because was it the third island that was the third? What was the third movie? A whole third island?
No, I believe it was going back to.
It was going back to the park.
The park, yes.
Okay, because so
and if we're remembering this incorrectly, bear with us.
So there's the park, and then there's the research island.
Yeah, the Site B from Lost World. I think that might be the one in Jurassic Park 3, though.
Okay.
Either way, there's 2 islands, and Jurassic World takes place on the original island.
So we only have the 3, and then The Jurassic Park 4 is Jurassic World.
Yeah.
I thought I was missing a Jurassic Park.
Jurassic World is Jurassic Park Part 4.
Okay.
And that takes place back on Isla Nublar Island 1. And it is the biggest amusement park in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's bigger than Disney World. And they are trying to draw new people in by introducing a new dinosaur, the Indominus Rex, which, surprise, surprise, escapes and starts mauling people.
It sure did.
And in the third movie, there's another mutant dinosaur.
Spinosaurus?
Yeah.
I don't know. Turns out, like, kids are really good at knowing how to pronounce dinosaur names correctly.
Yeah.
I loved dinosaurs. Apparently, I was the one kid who didn't say names correctly. Like the Dimetrodon. Or I always pronounced it Dimetron.
Dimetron, because it is a transformer. Meat burp. I will eat you. Destroy.
Yes. And I said Spinosaurus. It may be Spinerosaurus. I don't know.
I forgot about the Spinosaurus. It was like the enemy of the T-Rex.
Sure, it's bigger and angrier, toothier.
Right. In Jurassic World, when the Indominus Rex fights the T-Rex, which is the T-Rex from the original, and Blue comes in and they defeat it, they actually knock over a display of the Spinosaurus.
Oh, so it was a movie saying, hey, that one sucks.
Yeah, that one sucks. Yeah, it's a... So on point, do you want to maintain the original trilogy, the original 3, and start with Jurassic World? Because I could fix Jurassic World with one move, at least narratively what I would do with one move.
Well, for me, it's make the characters competent. I mean, granted, then how does the dinosaur get away?
Right.
Another way.
It just does.
Do like the original movie did, Sabotage.
Yeah. Just have it's an inside job.
There'd be no reason that other companies like, oh, you're popular now, guess we'll give up competing.
Right.
No, it's...
I don't think Jurassic World is a terrible movie. It does do a little bit of meta commentary in that in World, people are just tired of dinosaurs. They're not impressed by them, or much like we aren't impressed by movies. Audiences in World and in real world want bigger. They want more. So you guys genetically mash together a T-Rex and a raptor? Yes, please. I'm there. Let's do this. So the story works. My little tweak just from the get-go is Bryce Dallas Howard plays the aunt to the 2 kids in the movie.
Sure.
And there's this little subplot that the kids' parents are on the risk of getting divorced.
Yep.
It's super minor, and the younger one's like, oh, I don't want mom and dad to get divorced.
Sure.
There's a moment where they see Bryce Dallas Howard kissing Owen, and they're like, who's he? And Bryce Dallas Howard, Claire, is embarrassed. And she, these are my nephews. And all I could think in the moment in the movie is that who cares that your aunt is kissing some guy? You haven't seen her. You've spent very little time with her. What would fix that? What would make that moment matter is if Claire was the kid's older sister. She grew up. She left the house. She went out and pursued her career while their family's falling apart, and they could be upset with her because she's gone, and they could be like, we could have used you. And that strained relationship between younger brothers and older sister, it would have been super minor, but I think it would have made all the difference in characters.
That would have helped. That would have made a difference. You know what else they could have done? A different tweak? Have the parents come.
Oh, sure.
Right? Like, maybe this family trip will help our marriage. And then it doesn't really. And we can have the sister, played by Judy Greer, like great actress. I really like Judy Greer. Just wasted in that movie.
Barely used. She's in the opening scene
and that's it.
The closing
like,
scene.
Yeah, put her in the movie. Have her be the older sister, being like, and who's this you're kissing? Right? And be like, well, I'm an adult, so you don't have to have the attitude. And then, then Judy gets into her drama with her husband, and then the dinosaurs attack.
Right. So instead of the kids being the one that goes on the adventure,
they still could. You could have Judy Greer and the husband, and then also the kids, and the kids go off, and because the parents are fighting, they're like, fine, you can run off. It's safe.
Yeah, it's safe for Jurassic Park.
Right. So that just there's an extra, instead of just aunt aunt and park ranger being like, well, we better save the kids. The parents are like, oh my God, we got to save the kids. We don't know how to do that. We're park guests.
So Bryce Dallas Howard is still Judy Greer's sister.
Yeah,
and
still on the hook to save the kids.
Sure. I like that.
Granted, I think it's a little having the parents there is a little vestigial. That's a fancy word. There's your fancy word for the day. And that's probably why they weren't in the movie. You eliminate characters you don't need.
I could see how that would add an unnecessary element, an unnecessary plot. Mm-hmm. I can see the benefit and the disadvantage of adding them into the story.
Yeah.
I think that Claire's relationship with the boys needs to be stronger than just the aunt they haven't seen forever. That's
nice. I don't think that puts a nice bow on the movie that makes everything better.
This is just a minor fix.
Yeah.
But specifically to the plot. The plot of Jurassic World is the Indominus Rex escapes, shit goes bananas, and it wreaks wanton destruction.
It's pronounced wonton?
Wonton. Like the food.
Like the
wonton.
Food. Yes.
Don't correct me. I stand by my word. It's a dinosaur eating people. Wonton.
Wonton.
Wanton destruction.
I suppose the Indominus would enjoy some wontons.
Yeah. Who wouldn't? Just little chopsticks in his tiny little raptor hands. This is why I'm pissed off.
So that makes sense. That's fine. The movie really does tie itself in a pretzel to justify the other dinosaurs also wreaking havoc.
Right. It's just the Indominus just crashing through one area
and then
another.
For whatever reason, pterodons now also want to murder everyone. Why?
Just
why would they do that?
Swooping down and scooping people up. The most egregious death in the whole movie is the babysitter. I don't even know if she has a line other than her scream. She's just reading a book, not paying attention to the kids, and a pterodactyl just swoops down and drops her into the whale dinosaur, the megala.
Not only was it just unnecessary, but it was like also unnecessarily cruel.
Yeah.
Like she did nothing to deserve that. And the movie framed it like, ha ha.
Isn't it funny? She got torn apart.
You should have not been reading.
This is not the lawyer getting eaten off the toilet by a T-Rex. No, this poor woman's just like, I'm reading. Oh my God. I'm still dying. Yeah, how dare she read?
Yeah. Nerd. You're an amusement park. Be amused.
All right. So we also have the other subplot in the control room with Jake Johnson wearing the original Jurassic Park shirt. Mm-hmm. He's doing the callbacks to the original movie. And do you think that premise is worth maintaining, that it's essentially Disneyland? It's fulfilling the prophecy of when Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, it doesn't eat the guest. And now here we are decades later.
They have done it.
So yeah, do you want to maintain that premise that Lost World is canon? The world knows that dinosaurs exist.
Sure. Well, I mean, the reason to undo that, the reason to undo those would be to change something that those do. The main thing I think that you just said is they reveal to the world that dinosaurs exist. They're like, hey, a park's coming.
Right.
You're going to get to see some dinosaurs. So rewinding that to undo that is only to delay it, because the whole point is eventually people are supposed to come to this park.
Life finds a way.
Capitalism finds a way.
Yeah.
So and those movies don't do anything to the franchise that derails it. I feel like Jurassic World does.
It does. And I'm going to use this example because I don't see anything wrong with it, but it's basically doing what Force Awakens did, which is telling relatively the same story,
sure,
just dialed up to 11.
But not. And I would rather it do that. It tried saying the dinosaur is clever and the keepers are stupid. And they were stupid in a stupid way. And the dinosaur was clever in a way that people would not and should not have fallen for.
Right. They basically gave it superpowers. Okay, so the world knows that dinosaurs exist. There's a park.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're discussing, and we had a conversation about this earlier, is the difference between punching up a script and fully rewriting it. So do we maintain the script, the park exists, and everything just goes sideways? That's what we're going with. Because what's the alternative?
Oh, they had a potential thing built right in. We've ignored it so far. The entire subplot of the military wanting this technology for their use.
It's Vincent D'Onofrio who wants the Raptors to use them as military weapons.
I think it should. I think the sabotage. I think it should be sabotage, and it should be hung on that. Either something goes wrong when a military stooge tries to steal a thing, or just Vincent D'Onofrio is orchestrating this park falling apart to get it closed so the government can swoop in and just take things.
That's not bad right there. If we definitively make him the human villain with a more or less competent plan, as opposed to someone who just gets his arm ripped off for stupidity.
Yeah.
Like he's going out of his way to guarantee that this park fails. Like if it's, even if he comes in at, if your park fails, you know that the world governments have given me permission to strip this puppy. It's almost like he's the antithesis to Nedry, where he's more competent, but it's a similar plan where Nedry met with Dodson to try to corporate espionage Jurassic Park from Hammond, and it's similar to this now. And this is Crichton's brand, a shady corporation trying to take down another.
Sure.
I like that. Having a mercenary, a corporate, like a military mercenary who deliberately takes the park down. Does he do it covertly? Is he working with someone on the inside? Because we have a
right. Like it could be. Let's start throwing spaghetti at the wall. What if? No, the dinosaurs don't lay eggs themselves, so there'd be no reason for that. There'd be no reason for having a saboteur / spy sneak in to steal eggs. Right. Because that's not a thing, or at least not from an enclosure.
Yeah, having the introduction to D'Onofrio's character of him like holding one of the eggs and just like lamenting like, oh, what a beautiful ancient piece of weaponry this was. These are clearly weapons to him, and there'd be no doubt who our bad guy is. And instead of repeating Nedry stealing the DNA, like he's not interested in starting from the ground up. The people he's working for aren't interested in starting the ground up. These things exist. I want them as is. And the only way that's going to happen is if this park shuts down.
Okay. So he has people around the island or a person like at the control box, and just classic Nedry turns the electricity off?
Well, I say he comes in with this brazen attitude of just, hey, strolling around like, hey, don't mind me. I'm just here to watch this place. I'm evaluating this place. But he's pulling like a Hans Gruber. Okay, he's got people positioned all around the park waiting for his signal to set this thing off. He doesn't care about the people that are going to.
He has a bunch of moles, like a quarter of all the staff are his people.
Maybe, yeah. Just giving this a diehard feel. He's just positioning his people all around the park, and we see it happening, but unbeknownst to Owen and Claire, so that when it sets off, they look at him and they're like, "What did you do?" And he can just say, "What are you talking about? I've been here the whole time." And then he just sits back and watch. And you're just waiting for this guy to get his comeuppance.
Okay. So then all of his people, right? The park goes into lockdown like it properly would. And everyone is safe, locked in there wherever they are. And so that's when his men start opening sealed doors to go in and collar and knock out the animals to take them.
Right.
Because they want to use Peter Quill's technology, Owen's raptor training technology, like collars or whatever, to be like, and that's how we're going to control all the dinosaurs. Only they're not going to be controlled that way,
right? And then
they start getting the essentially the new poachers from the second movie.
Yes,
and that's how they then get out into the park.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and one of the problems with Jurassic World is, because it's a theme park, there are so many innocent lives lost in this. And I understand that that's the point. You can't control nature, but there's so much wanton death to kill off. Or, I mean, if you look at the deaths in Jurassic Park and in Jurassic World, no, Lost World, the people who die, the people who get their comeuppance, I know it's dealing in black and whites instead of grays, where the bad guys die and the good guys live for the most part.
Sure.
But I think there's something to that.
Up until Jurassic World, that's a part of the franchise.
Yeah, it should be.
The greedy, corrupt people get eaten and the good people work together to get away.
So I don't know.
Now, granted, it could also be how we then frame Jurassic World before then. If we want to start eating park guests, right? Because I think another movie to keep in mind that this could be like, similar to, is Titanic.
Yes.
If everything is going wrong while the park has guests in it, alarms, klaxons everywhere, spinning red lights, people are going to start flocking. Like, they stay in your rooms. They don't stay in the rooms.
We can't stay in the room, Rod.
They all they try to get to the docks, to get to the boats, to get off of the island, because the island doesn't have aerial arrival. That's only for like corporate or whatever. So guests only arrive by ferry. So everyone's flooding down there. So that's where the dinosaurs that eat people would go.
Flee to the docks.
And so that becomes a subplot for our heroes to like, well, we got to stop that.
Right. Like, we could have one of our subplots, the parents, Jake Johnson, not Owen and Claire, but we could have one of the subplots be escorting the guests out. And well, then there's a question of like, what's the population, the capacity of Jurassic World? Thousands? The way they paint this island, it's accessible. It's Disneyland. It's Disney World. Like, you can get there. There's hotels. There's tens of thousands of people there. Is there something to minimizing the capacity there? So it's a smaller number to control, or if it's worth just going a lot of people?
I think it should be a lot of people. I think one thing they didn't really explore. Now, granted, right, we only have so much time. We don't have a TV series here to explore everything.
2.5 hours at the most.
But I think we do need to sort of escalate the timeline, advance the park to the point where it would be equal to that. So I believe it probably was intended with the original Jurassic Park, but there's no reason to show us when the park wasn't open yet. But now that the park is open and we see guests, I don't remember ever seeing a hotel. And I believe there would be a hotel on the island.
If not two.
Yeah. Right. So that could be a whole subplot.
Or a set piece.
Was there a security expert?
Like a Muldoon from the first one. Well, Owen he's responsible for the Raptors, so I guess that sort of makes him like the head of at least security in a way. D'Onofrio is military.
I think I might be inventing too many characters, because basically maybe I just want to make Jurassic World a series rather than a movie.
I'm in. Do it. We can just beat this out a little bit more, and if you want, we can go into what a sequel to this would be. If you want to see what we could do to extend this series,
sort of. Well, do you feel like we've done Jurassic World enough?
Not necessarily.
The reason I mention a security guy is because what if that character's whole arc, that whole plot is the park is falling apart. Their one responsibility is I have to make sure the guests are okay. So they are trying to lock down the hotel with half of their security staff having been traitors and running off fighting, trying to wrangle dinosaurs.
Okay, I see. Like he's got men down, and maybe he was betrayed by someone he trusted.
What was the thought?
Well, in Jurassic World, we have Jake Johnson and Laura Lapkus in the control room the whole time, and they're
the guy in the van.
Tech, yeah. They're the guys in the van.
Yeah.
So you're suggesting that we minimize that plot and we take Jake Johnson, who's charming as hell, putting him in the position of helping evacuate? Because Owen is our snarky male lead, and by creating this new security guard character that would have his own action sequences, it would diminish Owen's role.
It does.
It would diminish Claire's role, Owen's role, and all the action pieces. They are a plot. They get all the big, cool stuff.
So my thought is you have Claire and Owen trying to stop D'Onofrio and chasing dinosaurs.
So they are rescuing the kids and suffering the consequences of the park falling apart, the park falling apart. Keeping in mind that
I know I'm putting too many people in here. I'm gonna put Judy Greer and her husband in there as well.
Okay.
And they're not just following Claire and Owen saying fix it. They go off to rescue their kids. That's now their plot.
Okay.
Claire is still concerned about her family, but she's also concerned about the park melting down.
So the stop the bad guy, stop the dinosaurs plot goes to Owen and Claire, which it's essentially already theirs. Yeah. And then removing their search from the kids and giving it to Judy Greer and her husband.
And then Jake Johnson and those characters, their plot is wrangling the people.
Okay. Yeah, that still works. It gets them it gets them out of the room, right? Instead of just being in the control room the whole time.
Even if they have to do the whole, we need to run to turn the power on, they still might need to run across the park, but they're concerned with managing the guests.
Right. So we can have them in the computer room, manning the computers for Owen and Claire, because they're like the last two people or so that we can trust, right?
Sure.
Who's not dead. Like
I want to get them running too, but okay.
I will. I'm going to get them in there. So they're manning the computers and they have to corral the people through unlocking doors and working them through the labyrinth, avoiding dinosaurs, panic room style.
Oh, sure.
Like we can't get them out this way because it's not safe. So we have to diverge them this way. And we're also opening and locking doors for Owen and Claire.
Lock this door, turn those lights on.
Right. And we can hint at that earlier by showing Jake Johnson opening a lock for a dinosaur to move about for grazing purposes. But as we reach the climax, they have to leave the safety of the control room, the safety of his chair, and then they're out there running for their lives trying to get to safety.
Yeah, and getting off the island.
Right. And like I said, I don't mind these characters as they are. I just see the shortcomings in each of them. I want them to be fuller. I want them to, like Alan and Ellie and Lex and Timmy and Nedry, they all have more substance. And having the characters in Jurassic World as we have them, you're not wrong. They are incompetent. They're kind of morons.
Sure. The way the Indominus Rex gets out really bothered me.
It's smarter than them. It tricks its way out.
Yeah, like, we didn't see, like, even if it can hide itself from heat, like a UV vision, IR vision, heat vision, basically.
Right.
They wouldn't just jump to the conclusion, it's out, let's open all the doors. No, like
Vincent D'Onofrio's the one to really set this off because looking it up, he is the head of security for InGen.
Well, that's actually even better because that means he's now abandoned his right, like when the park goes wrong, he's the one who would have been in charge of corralling the people and locking down the dinosaurs. So it's literally his job is now split between 4 people who aren't the ones to do that job.
Yeah, having Vincent D'Onofrio be the head of security and betray the park and its people makes him the perfect villain. He was already a great villain template. And now we're filling it out. And that's the minor little tweaks. It makes him a more of a threat than Nedry was.
Yeah.
Like Nedry screws everything up, but he does it all covertly and then just dies. We're making Vincent D'Onofrio betray the park. Like I said, Hans Gruber style. Now he's like forefront, the villain.
And ultimately, so I think he should get his comeuppance in this. But I also feel like he should get away with it a bit.
Well, there's one more element we're forgetting here, and that's B.D. Wong. He was in the original Jurassic Park as a geneticist in the lab, and now he's been upgraded to the mastermind behind all of this because we see him snag a bunch of the materials and piecing out.
Sure.
And I don't mind keeping him on the board as this shadowy big villain to carry on through the franchise. Like this franchise needs an overarching villain, I suppose.
Okay. Well, I guess maybe this is where we break and then we'll discuss what is to follow.
Because ultimately Jurassic World is a good premise and there's a lot of good stuff.
It's a good premise. It's definitely a good premise. Yeah. It was just, I would say, lackluster in its execution.
Despite making $1 billion.
despite making $1 billion.
The bean counters don't care, but we care.
Yes.
It matters to us.
Yes.
But let's see where we go from here. Because I don't know about you. Well, actually, I do know about you because you live tweeted me while you watched it. Let's take our break here.
Okay.
And let's see what we have for the future of Jurassic World.
Hey, this is Jordan Johnson. And I'm Max Olmstead. And we're at the Top Hat Balloon Show here.
Yes, so it's a sketch comedy show and it's a complete secret to everyone.
Yeah, it's a super secret. It comes out weekly, but only you can know about it.
Yes, you're one of the special few who we're telling about it.
Yeah, so make sure you go to YouTube, iTunes, or our website.
TopHatBalloonShow.com.
Yeah, and watch our videos and subscribe, but don't tell anyone. Well,
tell some people.
Maybe tell some people.
Maybe a few folks.
Maybe only tell, like, each of you only tell 20 people each.
Yes. Then it'll still be small and cool, but...
Yeah, but it's a secret, okay?
Yeah.
It's a secret.
Keep that in mind.
The secret Top Hat Balloon Show, okay? Goodbye.
1 heist. 6 plots for betrayal. When Raya Cautela cons 5 other thieves into helping her steal a magical artifact from the most powerful man in the world, she knows she's playing with fire. What she doesn't know is that the rest of her crew is just as underhanded as she is, and they all have plans of their own. M.J. Kuhn's Among Thieves, a fantasy heist novel full of twists, turns, and betrayal, available beginning September 7th wherever books are sold. Visit mjkuhn.com for more details.
Hi there, I'm David.
And I'm Kate.
And we're the hosts of another Zelda podcast.
There are so many good podcasts out there, and some of them in particular concern The Legend of Zelda.
That's right, Kate, and we are another one of them. That is actually the name of our show, Another Zelda Podcast.
And in our show in particular, we talk about some of our favorite dungeons, characters, boss battles. We have top 10 lists.
Yeah, we do deep dives on game design and production aspects of the different Zelda games.
And we talk about our own experiences. We do some review episodes, talk about our challenges, our struggles, and our victories.
That's right. Really just almost anything that has to do with Zelda, we like to talk about it. A new episode comes out every other Friday, and you can subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and YouTube.
And you can also check out our episodes on our website, anotherzeldapodcast.com.
That's right. All right, we will see you there.
Okay, bye!
I liked Jurassic World. I thought it was fine.
I liked the concept.
Yeah. But there were things that just kept jumping on me like, this is dumb. This is dumb. This is dumb. For how?
I just talking about formatting of how we're doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a little too much how the sausage is made for continuing to record here.
I could always cut it.
I think I would have preferred if we had watched it first.
Yeah.
Just so that we could have commented on some of those. Because I feel like it would have been. I like what we did. We made a fun movie in broad strokes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have been fun to point at the movie and say, this scene needed to go like this.
So
this
Jurassic
MacGuffin
World or Jurassic Fallen
World.
Kingdom? Okay.
World.
Well, we will watch it. I see what you mean.
But I mean, even just for the episode.
Right.
Would have been more fun.
For the listeners themselves to... So this
to be able to, for us to say, oh, that scene where he taps on the computer and he opens the door, like, why? Why would they have that technology like that?
So
why would the doors not have manual overrides?
Well, we will do a commentary track on Jurassic World then.
But I mean, even in the episode, it would have.
Yes, I get what you're saying, but I'm saying we'll do that.
Sure.
The trick will be we can't pause the movie. We have to.
No, yeah, you got to fit it into the
until the next egregious thing comes up to go. We got to move on to this, Jim.
I know they come fast and furious at one point.
I was just when the babysitter is killed. It just felt so
by that point
cruel.
It did, and by that point, but it had done. That was the first okay, this is trying to be like a bloody splatterpunk disaster movie without really going for it.
Yeah. So the first Jurassic Park it has some horror elements to it that really work. There's suspense, there's tension, it's scary. There's blood, there's the right amount of blood, there's the right amount of fear in the characters.
A big reason for that is because it's also dark.
Yes. It's nighttime, it's in the rain.
So I guess we didn't say that out loud. I was imagining that Vincent D'Onofrio's betrayal would happen at night.
At night. Yes. Give it to us at night.
Yeah.
Jurassic World all takes place like the big set piece of like the dinosaurs escaping is all in the day. It's the difference between seeing something like an older, darker horror, John Carpenter's The Thing, or like Silence of the Lambs, right? Versus like Final Destination, which is so bright. It's like, I get it. This is it's blood and scary. Ooh,
well, I mean, it's the reason you do something like that in bright, like there's a juxtaposition there. The thing is, it can be done. It can be made horrific in broad daylight,
right?
But it's much harder to do. And I can't blame a filmmaker for trying, but ultimately, if you fail at it, I guess I can blame you because I didn't buy in. If you fail at so that's a really hard thing to pull off.
And the one of the things that's so good in Jurassic Park is there's so few people that you get to know all the victims before you start attacking them. Whereas in Jurassic World, we have our main characters, but that's where I bump against the hundreds, if not thousands, of innocent victims, where it's just I'm desensitized to it. I don't care, right?
Sort of.
And putting them in the broad daylight, they're just CG murder people.
Yeah. So there's that. Do you care? Would you care about a cast of characters you get to know amongst hordes of people dying?
Yeah. Yeah. If there was.
So that's something I don't think Jurassic World did. I didn't get attached to any of those people.
I see. You mean the main characters themselves? I would, crafted better.
Sure. Yeah.
I would have. Dead Set, the Charlie Brooker series that preceded Black Mirror. It's a Big Brother house that's attacked by zombies.
Yeah.
Right.
It's in my list.
Yeah. It's great. It's a big cast. There's multiple. It has some Jurassic Park elements to it because the theme park is broken.
Yeah.
and the outside forces are destroying the inside forces, or vice versa. I do think there's a way to craft crowds of people, and I can think of a bad example.
Okay, go ahead.
The Russian family in the 2017 Justice League. I get why they're there. They're there to show us the innocent people being attacked. If there was an entire village of Russian people being attacked and we honed in on those people amongst the fodder. Rather than these 4 people embody all of the innocents, all of Chernobyl.
And they are the only ones we see, as opposed to we see 100 people. These 4 are going to be the emotional core of them.
So it could have worked better. It's a good set. Actually, you know who did pull it off? War of the Worlds. Spielberg's War of the Worlds.
Sure.
We're following Tom Cruise's family through the mania, through the panic. And you feel
we meet
tension.
a few people at the beginning.
Yeah.
We meet a 2 or 3 in the middle. We're like, oh God, that's a horrible fate.
Yeah. And even if you only get glimpses, it's so raw.
I want to point out we are praising War of the Worlds. I like that movie. That movie does some things that I really don't like.
Third act is a mess of a movie, but
there's a bunch in there that I do like, and I wanted to point that out because we're talking about another Spielberg movie. But a lot of people, I think, didn't think War of the Worlds was good. Didn't do well.
It falls apart by the third act. Once we get to CG studio set pieces and why'd that kid survive, it doesn't make sense.
I think that's the biggest sin it commits, is that kid lives.
Yeah. It's Ricky or whatever his name is.
That he comes back. Really, that's what it is. Because he might have lived.
But we don't need to see. He goes over the hill of explosion. That's the last we see of him. Roland Emmerich is the master of disaster. When you go from Independence Day to 2012 to, I'm not going to give him credit for crafting good movies per se.
I'm recalling 2012. Some things happen in 2012 that are the epitome of ridiculous.
Day After Tomorrow, they're outrunning cold.
I love that. We must outrun the cold.
South Park handled, it's the day before the day after yesterday or something like that, where it just means today.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's very good at having many subplots all crafted around a disaster and giving us enough look at the people, that we care enough about the caricatures. Independence Day, I think, is his finest film. In his explosion, blow up the world.
So the family is put into Jurassic World it's literally shorthand for you to care about Claire.
Yes.
Would we be better off severing that? Just have it be a family that's vacationing there. They think this vacation is going to save their marriage and stuff like that. And so it's just a subplot we're following.
Instead of directly linking them to Claire and Owen, let Claire and Owen do their thing. Let the family survive their way. Let Jake Johnson, the security, be.
Yeah, and they will all cross. Shit. They'll all cross at different times on their own.
Jake Johnson in the room is like the linking factor between this, because he's handling Claire and Owen stuff and he's corralling the survivors.
Yeah.
So he's the one linking the two stories. You can keep going back to him to transition between locations.
Nice.
And plots. Jesus.
We're so good at this.
We're so good. I'll pat my back. You pack yours. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, we're doing it now. This is why we keep talking after the fact. This happens every time.
But the reason I asked that is because I think we can have the crowds of people getting killed by dinosaurs, but as long as we follow a handful that we care about,
the kids and Judy Greer and her husband.
And like right for that first act, as they're there, like they're troubling, like, okay, we're clearly following these people. Mm-hmm. They meet their neighbors in the hotel, right? So we get a little bit of them. So we
have a cute daughter.
We don't quote unquote care when they die, but there's something that's like, oh, that was rather than just the faceless deaths we get someone.
Dude, you know who should, I think, if we could right now wave a magic wand and give this franchise to someone, maybe not I'd give it to the Duffer Brothers. Look at Stranger Things and how they craft 3 plots simultaneously all around a disaster.
We have not seen them do a movie.
Yes, correct. We have not. And maybe they would fail in that regard. But
wait, why am I doing that? No, I hate when that, right? The Russo brothers, they made a bunch of Community. Can they make a movie?
Yes, they can. The Duffer Brothers handling 3 plots simultaneously that don't directly link until the end. Mm-hmm. Just look at each season of Stranger Things and how well they've done that.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And plus, let's just get Steve Harrington in here.
Yeah.
One of the coolest characters.
Actually, right, if it's supposed to be Disney World, one of the perspectives we're missing is honestly just the employee. Not security, not executives.
Just the poor scientist
who
works the turnstile.
Yeah, works the turnstile. Sells the plushies in the gift shop. Something like that.
Yeah. Right? We've never seen that character.
That's Steve Harrington. He's like, oh crap, I am also stuck on this island.
I am not paid enough for this shit.
Right? And he got an internship because he loves some dinosaurs.
You know, I used to love dinosaurs. Well, I've worked at an amusement park. I worked at it, and I did caricatures at an amusement park, but I got to see how the behind the scenes work. Uh-huh. I do not like that.
Oh, no?
It was not an enjoyable experience working at a theme park.
Oh.
It was very much like, we care so much about the guests, so you can just suck eggs because you're our minion.
I think it depends on your experience and your park and things like that.
But because
I have heard nightmare stories, I've also heard
joyful stories,
wonderful stories.
Sure,
I've heard steamy stories.
Ooh.
And I've also heard
gross
stories.
Yeah. Having an employee who is dealing with this,
the stories.
Like, I'm not paid enough for this.
Yeah.
Like saving the boss in the end, like that guy, that employee somehow is like involved with saving Claire in the end and be like, I want a raise.
Yeah, that's actually really good. Like a pterodon gets into his booth, his store, right? Because they're always like full size stores.
Sure.
And like it's flapping around like a bird got loose in the store.
A broom and he's like,
yeah, but it's huge and it's attacking people.
Dude,
so he has to hit it with merchandise.
When we meet this character, he's getting a little birdie, sparrow out of the store.
There you go. Yeah.
So then his big action set piece is going after a pterodactyl.
Yeah. How do we get this thing out of the store?
Son of a bitch. Yes, please. That's amazing. That's Jurassic World. Like that whole, we have a whole new subplot of employee dealing with.
Well, right. Like we spent a lot of time crafting sort of the main spine of the plot. Honestly, this is the stuff that I want to see. Like if you're going to do full on disaster like that, not Steven Spielberg disaster, if we're going to go disaster movie, right? Like the Poseidon Adventure, you need to do stuff like this.
Sure.
Roland Emmerich that's a great example. We need to craft all these little sub stories that's where the fun lies.
Right. Because then you get the mini action set pieces. You get the moments that are like memorable.
And Jurassic World tried to have things like that, but it only gave us those characters in the moments that they died. It didn't really frame them. It didn't show them arrive on the island. It didn't give them a moment of checking to the hotel or showing them whether they enjoy their job or are just a mindless drone doing their mundane daily job.
It's I hate to give him too much credit, but it's worth noting seeing the guy with the dog, Eddie. I think it's Eddie Griffin with the dog in Armageddon before the asteroid hits.
Yep.
And then the dog is dangling in the hole, like, oh my God, are you okay? Like that's enough of here's a character, here's their thing. Now they're going to be put in danger. You care enough because you know enough about them, and are they going to survive? And how do you feel about that? It's like sprinkling in more of that. I wonder if one of the reasons we lose some of that in something like Jurassic World or movies of this type is that it's done. I'll even criticize the Marvel movies for this. The lack of pedestrians, of the crowds, right? We get the big crowds running and screaming, but enough of these mini moments are lost. Do you think that's because they film so much of this stuff in studio spaces on green screens and less into practical locations? Maybe
partially. I think it's so talking about the Marvel movies, it's because those movies are not the disaster. They are the hero.
Sure. But then I guess more to Jurassic World's point, it's like they probably filmed a ton of that with special effects, and then and the crowd scenes were
right. We can't get too close to these people, or we will see that they are digital,
or we get too close to them and we feel for them, and we're about to have them eaten by a thing.
But I want.
That's what I want.
That's what I want. Yeah.
How you feel about that? Yeah.
Well, I feel pretty solid. I'm not like some episodes where I'm like crazy happy with what we came up with. I feel really solid though about the way we've refocused Jurassic World,
Jurassic Park 5, Jurassic World,
which I feel like is the most of the demand.
Right. And it was fine where we thought it went wrong and fix it. And now we're building off of that. So now we're on to Jurassic Park 6, Jurassic World 2, Fallen Kingdom.
Yes.
Okay. Here we are.
Yep.
So I remember going into this, and for the first half of the movie, I'm like, okay, this is all right. It's basically going where I thought it was going to go. And then it became somehow a haunted house movie. What?
Oh my God, I don't even remember that.
Owen and Claire is now like a bleeding heart animal dinosaur rights activist.
I did not like that. Like, it makes sense. That turn makes sense. But I like from that first movie, I thought she was incredibly irresponsible. She was actually a villain. We didn't discuss that in the first half of this episode.
Yeah.
She was a villain in the first half. It was like, oh no, I did a bad. I sure should try to keep from getting blamed for this.
Yeah. And now she suddenly loves the dinosaurs, wants to protect the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And recruits Owen to go rescue them, only to find out that once again, there's a company trying to steal the dinosaurs to weaponize them. And then the rest of the movie is a supervillain auction for dinosaurs in a mansion where the dinosaurs have now been somehow programmed that you can take a gun, Jim, and you can aim it at a person and you can pull the trigger, which marks them. And then the dinosaur attacks that person no matter where they go, which makes no sense. If you caught them in your sights.
It felt really James Bond villainy.
Yeah, it did. And there's another subplot about the revelation that a little girl in this movie, spoilers, I suppose, it's worth mentioning, I'm spoiling things here, that there's not John Hammond. It's John Hammond's partner who also has the other cane with the mosquito in it, but his cane is black instead of white. He lost his daughter and cloned her to be his granddaughter.
Oh, that's right.
Right. And that revelation is, do we destroy the dinosaurs? And she's like, no, they're like me. And she frees them into the world. And then Ian Malcolm, who's been sitting, and when it's Jeff Goldblum earning the easiest paycheck of his career.
That's right. Yeah.
Says, welcome to Jurassic World.
Right. Because Jurassic World wasn't the park. It's the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because now the dinosaurs are loose in the world and they're just going to do their dinosaur thing.
Dinosaur it up. Dino DNA.
Dino DNA.
So
that's actually our biggest mistake. We just need to go back and have that cartoon in every movie.
Hi, I'm Mr. DNA. So going back to the island, rescuing, kidnapping and rescuing the dinosaurs.
Step one, do we want to end the park and unleash dinosaurs on the world? That's where the franchise goes. Is that what we want to do? There's a part of me that likes that idea a whole bunch. There's a part of me that thinks that is so not just obvious. You don't want to not do something just because it's obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But like
I think
cringy.
Yeah. I'm going to suggest this. That's how you open the movie. Right? Don't.
They're already loose.
No. You open the opening of the movie that we got is they're trying to get wrangle the fish thing, and then it eats everybody. And it's oh no, now it's loose in the ocean. I say the opening of this movie, before we get to Claire and Owen and who our main characters are going to be, is the island is the government has shut down the island because of murder. And Claire is shamed. She's got to go in front of the government and answer for her crimes. Owen is gone off. It's the consequences of what would happen after a park was destroyed. And this is similar to what we got, but instead of waiting the whole movie for supervillains to capture these things and then unleash them on the world, no, our opening should be, let's have stuff go sideways right away so that we see the things start to escape in the opening, cut to the opening title, cut to the government doing an inquiry with Claire, and it's interrupted by, we have a problem down by the island. Excuse me, we're going to take a short recess. And then Claire's assistant coming up the park has been unleashed. What do you mean the park has been someone went everything went south, surprise, surprise. And now the dinosaurs are loose. Well, they're still contained on the island. No, they've gotten off the island. They're spreading all over South America and they've made their way to California. Let the movie be this, that.
And have it be right after.
More or less right after.
We don't want to do any because the reason we would do a fast forward,
right?
Let some time pass, is to let D'Onofrio's post death, that his soldiers have gotten away with some dinosaurs. So now the government has their hands on some. So we start getting government dinosaurs or talk of government dinosaurs. But then also our geneticist, he also got away. So now maybe he's selling or working for the highest bidder.
Yes. I got you on this. I think you're right. You're onto something here.
The one reference I want to make sure it gets in the episode that I don't want to do this unless you can sell me, unless you say, no, we're doing this. There was a pitch way back in the day for Jurassic Park 3, which was the government starts splicing dinosaur DNA with human DNA to make super soldiers.
No, because
I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that.
Unless you say you want to do that.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. This is what I want to do. I think it's a fast forward, but not a lengthy fast. We're not years removed. We're months removed.
Okay.
No, I don't know. Let me pitch this at you and see what you say. If the park is being we're trying to shut it down and it's government and stuff goes sideways, the dinosaurs escape, Claire's interrupt, the congressional hearing is being interrupted. People are, there's a dinosaur warning. They've escaped. Somehow they're getting off the island. I'm trying to hand wave to get to it. Mm-hmm. If it's okay, what's the contingency we have in place for this? Well, luckily we had a military person involved with weaponizing these dinosaurs. So we actually have a group that can hunt these dinosaurs down. It is soldiers side by side. It's Vincent D'Onofrio's idea in effect. And it is an operation that works. So it's the some sort of military operation that works side by side with raptors to hunt
they're
down.
obviously not friends. Like
No.
the Wranglers and the Raptors aren't friends
No.
like Owen and Blue.
Right.
They're I am in control of you, and you would eat me if you didn't have the collars on.
Instead of having rich supervillain, Bond villain, mustache twirlers, right?
Yeah.
I'm suggesting that there's a military operation that is utilizing dinosaurs to hunt down dinosaurs.
Okay.
Not using dinosaurs to hunt down people. That's just silly.
So I think you mentioned something in the first half that I think, despite us going in the direction of giving this to the military, which we've done, what if that's still just a background thing? I like the idea. What if it's another corporation?
Okay.
The government has outsourced even these raptor pods, right, to a corporation. So corporations have these paramilitary organizations that are hunting down dinosaurs for the quote unquote good of the people. But really it's so that they can so they can do that, but they can also then harvest these dinosaurs for their own uses.
Yeah, imagine a battalion of T-Rexes just tearing through some enemies, right?
A la Logan, right? In the movie Logan, they had those mercenary paramilitary guys. They worked for a company, not for the government. I'm imagining something like that. So
BD Wong can still be involved.
Yeah, one of InGen's competitors is the one who is doing this. They're like, we are contracted to the government to hunt these dinosaurs. So we are the military and a corporation at the same time. Let's go get them.
Okay, so now we have essentially our villains, I think.
I think so.
And having Claire, like, okay, I don't want to see our dinosaurs be destroyed. The only way we're going to capture them is if Owen's involved. And how do we get Owen into the story? Because she recruits him into going down and saving the dinosaurs and what we got. Alternatively, is he working for one of these organizations that's been weaponizing dinosaurs? Is he working for the villains essentially, but his motives is, I just want to find Blue?
What if we do crib a little and there is an animal rights activist group that
he should be leading it then, because Claire.
That's sort of, if he's not leading it, he's a part of it, that is trying to essentially free and or abscond with, to just get dinosaurs to, like, I don't know, like a preserve.
Sure.
Right? Like some sort of preserve.
Hell, yeah. Even if Claire goes to, like, look, the people we need to talk to that are the most organized to be against this is this group right here. Let's go see them. We need to see your boss. Who's in charge of this? And then Owen comes smart, like, like, hey, Claire. Oh no, no.
Maybe something like that.
Yes. What do you mean you're in charge of? I took my entire pension and I put it towards this organization. You think I want to see these dinosaurs harmed and used like weapons? No. Oh, God damn.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we can keep the cold open, because I know, like, that movie had a really traumatizing scene for a lot of people. People love dinosaurs. Oh, we're going to kill them all.
Oh my God. The Brachiosaurus rearing up like it did in Jurassic Park, just being destroyed by volcano ash is
right. So some people would love to see that scene erased. However, because it is so striking, I think it's important to have something at least similar.
Yeah.
So having a cold open where that's happening. But what we're doing is we're following one of these peace organizations trying to steal dinosaurs from the island. Like, we find out the government / their contracted corporations are actually quarantining the island. So we have to follow our group in. They have to sneak through the security. They get to the island. They're getting some dinosaurs, and that's when the volcano goes off or something.
Yeah.
So then they have to get off the island. It suggests they've been doing this, that they have been getting dinosaurs off the island. We can have the traumatic scene.
This is still, and it's a bit similar to what already exists. It's sort of condensing it down to our opening act.
Yeah. And it could, now granted, that had characters we care about in that scene. I guess maybe Owen's in there. I'm initially thinking it would be nobody we know, nobody we will know.
Sure.
Just a bunch of no names.
Shoot.
But it could be. Owen could be in that group. Claire would not be in that group.
If we cold open with something going wrong, and then everyone's aware of it. There's dinosaurs loose. Release the hounds. Whatever this organization is. It could be then going back to the island and seeing we got the bad guys who are like wrangle as many as we can, and we got the good guys who are like free as many as we can.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get them to the mainland as soon as possible, right?
Sure.
I don't want to be in an island and then in a mansion. That's dumb.
Yeah, no. It's so we're on the island in that cold open to see to suggest many dinosaurs are already off the island.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to get more, but now the island is done. So now all the dinosaurs that there are off of the island, and there can be 3 major reveals. 1 or more preserves that this animal activist group has.
Sure.
The military / I'm liking the military less and less, and I'm liking a corporation
black hat group.
Having this, and the 3rd one can be wherever the geneticist went.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, world, we're opening a new park here on some other island in a different part of the world, right? Like, we're revealing that we have this now.
Yeah.
I don't really know how they would get loose. So that 3rd one, maybe not so much. Or maybe that's actually a big part of it, like because they're building a park on a continent, on the mainland.
Maybe not that.
Okay, I'm getting too setting building and a little less plotty.
No, that's okay. I think setting is fine, but instead of another park, if BD Wong's character is, we got contracts over here to create like a paramilitary group that uses dinosaurs to hunt dinosaurs. Cool. We got the peace group that's trying to fill up preserves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's this fight over the rights of animals, of these creatures. Destroy them or save them, right? Having BD Wong's character be an organization, being a shadow group or a very overt group saying, we know how to control, euthanize, protect. We can handle, using science only, we can stop these dinosaurs from being a problem. We're not going to go in and murder them. Seemingly very altruistic, but it's all about control and money. That his motives are to truly control who has the dinosaurs, where the dinosaurs are. Right? You see what I'm kind of going, like
sort of, yeah, sure.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm making this up as I say it.
The other detail I was thinking about was InGen's role in all this, right? Because it's kind of like, well, they've imploded and it's done.
Right.
I think maybe framing them as,
well, he could be, this is our property. I'm the head of InGen by contract.
Oh, I was actually going to say the whole beginning when we get to the courtroom and stuff like that, we learn what's happened is all of the CEOs, all of the execs, all the higher up people of InGen have abandoned ship.
Yeah.
In an effort to make Claire go down.
Sure.
To have her be the scapegoat, they've all abandoned ship, and then Claire, by the skin of her teeth, somehow pulls off a, yes, I am now in charge. I am the de facto leader of InGen. I own InGen, and we will make this right because InGen is now going to scrape and claw to maintain the rights to, like, technically it doesn't matter what you've done. We own that island. We own all this stuff.
And the property of the dinosaurs is our property.
And so InGen, now crippled by sabotage and these other companies and governments tearing at them, is still going to like try to regain its hold, right? It's she's the redeemed CEO, if that's a thing.
Is that a thing? Yeah. Going to the peace group and then discovering Owen's involved, if not in charge.
And like they all hate her, like, because you caused all this, and she's all like
I'm trying to fix it.
I'm very sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Not having a full leaf turnover that we get between World and Fallen Kingdom, but essentially that's her character arc is a redemption story.
Yes.
How does this end? Because I do think there is something to be said for what we're going to get, which is when dinosaurs ruled the earth.
Yeah.
Like, there's a short film that came out that Colin Trevorrow directed. It's a fully produced Jurassic World short film where a family it's sort of like a post-apocalyptic world where dinosaurs are terrorizing and they're living in an RV in the woods, hidden away, and a dinosaur attack happens. It's very good. It's very well done. It's better than Fallen Kingdom. So there is something to be said in a third movie, and I don't want to get into details on that because we'll see what we get. But a world where dinosaurs rule the world. So how does the second one end? Right? What we got is a little clone girl saying, "They're like me. Let them be free."
We don't. We do know.
There's no.
No,
clone
we're not
girls.
getting that.
I don't mind a kid being in here somewhere because that's part of the joy of Jurassic Park. Is it's not meant just for us millennials.
I'm an old man now. I don't like children.
You Gen Xer over here. But how does it end? How does it end? Like does Claire decide let them free? Does Owen?
What if it comes down to the paramilitary organization is just too much, and their last choice is to either open the gates to the preserve to let them loose, or they die, or are captured. So the choice is we just have to let them go, or
we've bottlenecked. They're fish in a barrel if we let them live in this preserve. Our only choice is to make it harder for them to be found. They're dinosaurs. It's not going to be hard, but spread them out.
Sure. And so going that route, knowing where we want this to go, we want it to end with very definitively dinosaurs will propagate to the point that they cross the globe and they're not a thing we can contain. Cool. I still think there's something in the geneticist selling dinosaurs to other people, whether it's other parks, whether it's private firms for whatever they want to do, things like that. So they start spreading that way. However, I think we need to go back to the first Jurassic World with the Indominus Rex. One thing that is explained is, yes, the Indominus Rex, we gave it way more intelligence. And then kind of sneak in there as well. We gave, and once we saw how well that worked, we actually gave intelligence to all of the dinosaurs we've made since because it's made them more trainable. That's the justification.
Yeah. Okay.
But the thing is, once they're out in the wild, that intelligence only works it only works to the dinosaurs' benefit because now they're going out and like, we don't want any of this. We're going to, move in a way that doesn't get us captured.
I prefer Burger King.
Yes. And that's how we eventually get to the Whoopi Goldberg Tyrannosaur buddy cop movie.
If BD Wong's character is like, if sort of like the final revelation that says, like, if Owen and Claire manage to defeat this military organization, let the dinosaurs, we've saved this selection of dinosaurs, only to find out that they ultimately failed in so much as BD Wong's character has sold the ability to make dinosaurs around the world to whoever wants it. So that they're, no, maybe not. That saving one preserve and one group of dinosaurs in Oregon or whatever, Washington, is great.
Sell more money if it's in China.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that it's like we did it. And then to discover
sell more money, make more money.
All the preserves around the world. This isn't the only. Like all the preserves have fallen at the same time. Like
that's the only, like how you can't really make that.
I don't know how
happen, right? It's not.
I'm trying to think of a way to say like their victory is small because in the grand scheme of things, dinosaurs are all over the world now. And there's nothing that can be done about it. That's where I'm trying to get to. And I don't know my what I'm crapping out here right now is not working, but it's to have some sort of ending of, because even what we got, a mansion full of dinosaurs escaped, you can capture those in a week.
Yeah.
Right. There's maybe 24, maybe 50 if you want to be super generous.
Yeah.
You can take those dinosaurs out.
That's why I'm wanting BD Wong to make a whole lot more.
That's what I'm saying.
Selling them off to all kinds of people.
If the final revelation is BD Wong announcing, okay, to kind of go back to your point earlier, like, ladies and gentlemen, I now introduce to you the new Jurassic World. And he's got sites all. It's almost like
it's a franchise.
He franchises it and announces it all at once. Even though this has been a huge court battle and a very public disaster in Isla Nublar, he has gone out of his way to give Jurassic Parks all over the world. And the final moment, it's very Planet of the Apes. We don't get to see all these parks falling, right?
Okay.
But it's Owen and Claire knowing, like, there's no doubt this will fail and there will be dinosaurs everywhere.
Sure.
I think that's sort of like, you see what I mean? Like,
I'm on board with exactly where you're going. I still don't see how we get there.
I don't know either.
And I don't think we're going to get there before the end of this episode. But in our third or fourth draft, we'll figure it out.
and I think that it's the trick to make that happen, I think, is focusing on Claire and Owen and Blue the Raptor, going after the villainous paramilitary group. We got dinosaurs hunting dinosaurs, human hunting dinosaurs, dinosaurs hunting humans, and giving it those set pieces that you were delving into. This location, this location.
What if Claire isn't InGen? Claire is the scapegoat. InGen gets rid of her. BD Wong's the geneticist is the one who controls it. That's why he's able to franchise the name Jurassic World all over the world. It's all over the place. InGen still owns Isla Nublar. They own all that stuff. He doesn't care. He's letting the military scavenge the island, the bones of the island for the military or even competitors, because he knows he has this all over the world.
His Jurassic Worlds.
Yeah. And the thing is, he doesn't care about things like security or anything like that. So they're really weak. And so I'm running out of steam. I thought I was going somewhere. I was going to say Claire. So Claire's on the outs from InGen, but she still knows all of the ins and outs. That's why she goes to the preserve people, gets with Owen, and they're like, she's like, you need me because I know how to get into those places. And they're like, okay, we need to get in for a reason to bust them out. I'm losing it.
To protect them. The preserves are different than the parks, right? They're trying to create, Owen is responsible for developing preserves where they can just run free and exist as dinosaurs, and they're contained, and it's not an attraction. People aren't going to go to these preserves to treat them like it's not a zoo. There's the parks that are being treated like zoos, and Owen's group, with now Claire involved, they're trying to create preserves.
Yeah.
And if they're able to stop whatever villainous organization is trying to bust the preserve open, right? They're just protecting their preserve of dinosaurs. They have the most.
I'm actually suggesting moving away from all the action happening on the preserves. And when Claire shows up, she's like, we need to go to the source, because the island's destroyed at the beginning of the movie. So everyone's like, there's no more dinosaurs. Jurassic World global franchise. Get your own Jurassic World franchisee today. And they're like, oh no, there's parks everywhere. Well, we have our preserves, whatever. And then Claire's like, no, we gotta bust into the parks and we gotta steal dinosaurs from them. I don't. This might not be the way to do the. Do you see this other direction I'm suggesting?
Yeah,
either way. Starting in Jurassic World, we do need super intelligent dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's the key factor there. Because, and I think you're right on that, because if we stick with they are protecting a location from the paramilitary group that is sent in to kill dinosaurs, and it's more of a protect the creatures that can protect themselves kind of thing. If ultimately they succeed, but then see the revelation that BD Wong has opened up parks all over the world very happily, and Owen having some snarky response of like, or Claire saying like, this is insane. Yeah. Those are all going to fall.
Yeah.
Those are all going to fail. And then Owen being like, well,
dinosaur Chernobyl.
Sure. She's literally going to say this will be dinosaur Chernobyl.
I guess I put it in the world.
Did,
so.
Yeah. And Owen can say like, well, we need to save as many of those as we can. And that's their mission now, is to, they know because of what has happened. They've seen it. There's no way, doesn't matter what oversight you have, treating these things like animals at a zoo is going to fail. The only way to protect these creatures is to let them run free on their own away. And humans and dinosaurs were not meant to coexist.
Also, stop genetically breeding them.
Yes.
Stop genetically
that.
Stop genetically breeding monsters we imagined.
Yeah. And so having them end it by seeing the failures to come.
So you want to end it that way. Okay.
And saying like,
so there's something I think I want to do that I think Jurassic Park fans might not like. I like the idea of the geneticist kind of going not overboard, but like every new park has some new wacky dinosaur. Not wacky.
They'll have their specialty dinosaur.
a thing that did not exist in nature. They're making up new ones all over the place.
And
It's literally just populating the world with monsters.
yeah. Having I hate to cliffhang it, right? I want there to be a full and complete story of protecting the preserve and succeeding. There's closure in that. But don't get me wrong, because I still think we need to set up for a third. There's no doubt we're going to make another one of these.
Sure.
So having our main plot of this movie, protecting Blue and the gang.
The Forbidden Kingdom is the preserve?
Yes.
Because you are forbidden to go there.
Because the movie we got is called Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen
But
Kingdom.
I'm okay with like changing the title
Fallen Kingdom?
to Forbidden Kingdom. That's fine.
Okay.
But our main, we get closure in this. They have succeeded in saving their location, but it doesn't matter because much like Fallen Kingdom gave us, there's a sequel, believe it or not. And here is the general seeds of that setup that we're going to see. So I think ultimately what happens is we get to the same ending that Jurassic Fallen Kingdom promised us, which is this is their world now. But we've spread it out way more. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's not actually their world yet.
Right.
We've basically just dropped dinosaur Chernobyls.
Yeah. All these
around the
reactors
globe.
will blow.
Yes.
And it's just and I want to cite again, because I mentioned it earlier, is the Planet of the Apes franchise, the trilogy we got.
I kept thinking that as well. I just don't want the dinosaurs to be that smart.
No. I am not suggesting that at all.
Yeah.
I'm simply stating that the way those three movies are plotted is that there's a lot of in-between story that is very well crafted for the subsequent films.
Sure.
We get to see the way the first one ends. There's closure, there is victory in our heroes, and the closing credits, if you pay attention, show the spread of the virus that kills humanity. It's not, it's the information is there that this is going to happen. And as the closing credits happen, you get to see the red dot spread and spread and spread.
That's fun. Then actually, I want to reiterate that they're not quote unquote successful in protecting the preserve. The way they succeed is by releasing the dinosaurs.
Yes.
So then I don't care. Let's lift that right from there. During the credits, we see news stories about more dinosaurs, the dinosaur eggs, baby dinosaurs seen outside Cleveland.
Yeah. Opening the third movie with the disgraced BD Wong that the character he played is like.
Well, I still like the idea that opening the. We're going to talk about the third movie.
No, we can't.
I don't think he should be disgraced.
Henry Wu is well.
He's at the top of this kingdom, at the top of this Jurassic World franchise.
Yeah.
And it's this third one is when we see all of the reactors blow.
Let's go
to continue using that analogy.
It's a good analogy. And then I'm interested to see where this franchise goes because Malcolm's back. Grant is back. Ellie's back. Like they're bringing back they're uniting all the characters from all the movies. Maybe William H. Macy will be back too.
In the next movie they're actually making.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel like. Sure, I like all those.
I know.
People,
I'm not saying I want. I'm just. Instead of theorizing what the third movie could be, what we've done is we have tweaked Jurassic World and rewritten, like seriously rewritten Fallen Kingdom to get us to the same point that Fallen Kingdom ended off at, more or less.
Yeah.
So that whatever comes next could technically still work within what we've crafted. Instead of theorizing what we do with the third one, let's wait and see.
Yeah.
And
I also think, especially to get it to go where they want it to go, the dinosaurs they all need to be smarter. I know the movies keep insinuating the raptors are as smart as people.
Yeah, but all of them need to be.
All of them. Yeah.
Yeah. All the time.
Yep.
Yeah. So I like our tweaks on Jurassic World. We did much broader strokes in Fallen Kingdom, but basically to try to get our characters to a position of let's blow them up. Let's blow up the world with our dinosaur world. Dinosaur Chernobyl.
Dinosaur Chernobyl.
Yeah. What do you think? Any final thoughts out here before we wrap things up here? I know this will be like we're gonna have 10 minutes from now. You're like, oh, I should have said this.
Yeah. Well, just thinking back to that first one, once we make them very intelligent, now all of our dinosaur antics in Jurassic World will make a lot more sense. There's reasons for them to harry people other than just, let's do it because it's a good movie.
Monster like kill people.
Yeah.
Blood. Right.
Now there's now there's a little more rhyme or reason to it.
The hero of the franchise is always that T-Rex, because the T-Rex who saves the day at Jurassic World is the original T-Rex from the first movie. Same scars all over her body.
Sure. Yeah.
So certainly figuring out a way to, like, what we've done is we've laid out plot. What the real bread and butter of this franchise is what do you do with the dinosaurs? How are people getting maimed?
Sure.
And there's certainly, I'm not saying we need to go into detail on that, but I think there's plenty of opportunity for new settings to see.
Absolutely. Now I'm thinking, how do you? Did that Tyrannosaur die? Did that Tyrannosaur show up?
She's still there.
How'd she get off of the island?
Actually, she's got to be. Like, I don't know.
So I don't think she is. So that's where you mentioned her. So now I'm thinking about her and I'm thinking, well, how do you close this up? After the dinosaurs have mauled the planet, I think what you do is your characters have to go back to the island to get a MacGuffin that will actually there's a chemical agent that's only there that will unravel their DNA.
That does exist. It's in the first movie. The way they control them is that there's the lysine contingency that they have to be fed a specific thing, but they evolved past that need, which is why the babies are born without it. Yeah. So there's something in lore to play with there, which I would
play with that, which is why they have to go back to Isla Nublar, which has the park.
They go to Tatooine on all those Star Wars movies. So
and the volcanoes destroyed everything. So now they have to go to this wasteland of a park, and they find out there are a few dinosaurs that are still alive. One of which is the Tyrannosaur.
I would love that, just to see her still alive. Yeah. All right.
Wasteland Tyrannosaur.
Wasteland. That's the fourth. That's the subtitle of the fourth movie. Yep. The TV series. Well, Gigi, how do we do? Huh? I mean, that was a demand from Gigi, and I'm curious to see if we did in fact do what she or he. I guess I don't know if it's a he or she. If they are happy with what we've done. So, Jim, I think it's time to wrap up the episode here.
I think it is.
Yeah. Have we met the demands? Please let us know. Hit us up if you agree, disagree. What did we miss? Because we did zip through some of this. Not intending to do 2 movies. I'm glad we did.
No, yeah.
Yeah. I think that I think we found a good place with Jurassic World where we can agree there's some good here and it's just minor things. So, but let's do the social stuff. If you want to tell us how well we did or what we forgot, you can find us at studiodemandsit.com where you can send in a demand. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Play. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Studio Demands It. Like and subscribe if you feel like doing such a thing. Or if you'd like to give us a little review, you can do that in app on whatever your podcast platform may be. Encourage them to do that.
Do that.
Thank you, Jim. That was good. Yeah. You can find me at TC's Big Head, and you can also find Jim there if you'd like to talk to him.
Yep.
Jim, what's your handle?
At TC's Big Head.
It's so strange.
I'm working on it. I'll eventually
season
have
4.
Something. Yeah.
Season 4. Yeah. You know what? Send me ideas for what Jim's Twitter handle.
No, well, I know what it is. I just don't want to say it out loud and have someone take it.
Okay. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Well, no, I won't say it. I have a streaming channel that I used to have, and I'd like to start up sometime.
Giving people clues to hunt you down.
Video games, playing video games and stuff. So that's someday I'll figure it out.
So for the meantime, you can reach them over through me at TC's Big Head on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you to 65 Media for giving us this platform. I want to make a suggestion if you're interested in musical theater, that A Broad's Way Through Broadway is now up and running. It's a few episodes into the season right now, but it's the newest series starring Alison Chickarell. Each episode, she has a guest on, and they discuss a Broadway show. She loves theater, so if you are a geek for it and you just want to listen to 2 people just have a love fest for a specific show or theater in general, I can't recommend it enough. So that's The Broad's Way Through Broadway, which you can find on all the platforms as well. So go check that out. Jim, you can check it out?
I'm going to check it out.
Thank you, Jim. That's good. Lots of amazing content through 65 Media. So thank you, 65 Media, for that. That's it for this episode. We'll be back again soon to hopefully improve the world of cinema. Jim, any last words? For this, I'm not going to have you murdered by a dinosaur or anything. I'm just curious if you...
After careful consideration,
Yes.
I do not approve of your park.
I'm TC.
I am Jim.
And this is how we end an episode.
It is.
Okay,
It's as
bye.
clean as you're going to get.